Numbers chapter 22, verse 1. Numbers 22 and 1. Numbers the 22nd chapter and the first verse. Balaam and the king of Moab. Then the Israelites traveled to the Jordan Valley in Moab. They camped near the Jordan River across from Jericho. Balak, son of Zippor, saw everything the Israelites had done to the Amorites. The king of Moab was very frightened of the Israelites because there were so many of them. He was very afraid. The king of Moab said to the leaders of Midian, "This large group of people will destroy everything around us, the way an ox eats all the grass in the field." Balak, son of Zippor, was the king of Moab at this time. He sent some men to Balaam, son of Beor. Balaam was at Pethor near the Euphrates River. This was where Balaam's people lived. This was Balak's message. A new nation of people has come out of Egypt. There are so many people that they cover all the land. They've camped next to me. Come and help me. These people are too powerful for me. I know that you have great power. If you bless people, good things happen to them. And if you curse people, bad things happen to them. So come and curse these people. Maybe then I'll be able to defeat them and force them to leave my country. The leaders of Moab and Midian left. They went to talk to Balaam. They carried with them money to pay him for service. Then they told him what Balak had said. Balaam said to them, "Stay here for the night. I will talk to the Lord and tell you the answer he gives." So the leaders of Moab stayed there with Balaam that night. God came to Balaam and asked, "Who are these men with you?" Balaam said to God, "The king of Moab, Balak, son of Zippor, sent them to give me a message. This is the message. A new nation of people has come out of Egypt. There are so many people that they cover the land. So come and curse these people, and maybe I'll be able to fight them and force them to leave my land." But God said to Balaam, "Don't go with them. You must not curse those people. They are my people." The next morning, Balaam got up and said to the leaders from Balak, "Go back to your country. The Lord will not let me go with you." So the leaders of Moab went back to Balak and told him this. They said, "Balaam refused to come with us." So Balak sent other leaders to Balaam. This time he sent many more than the first time. And these leaders were much more important than the first ones he sent. They went to Balaam and said, "This is what Balak, son of Zippor, says to you. Please don't let anything stop you from coming. I will pay you very much, and I will do whatever you ask. Come and curse these people for me." Balaam gave Balak's officials his answer. He said, "I must obey the Lord my God. I cannot do any." Isn't that amazing that Balaam says he must obey the Lord my God, and he's not an Israelite? Interesting. I see now. "I cannot do anything great or small against his command. Even if King Balak gives me his beautiful home filled with silver and gold, I will not do anything against the Lord's command. But you can stay here tonight like the other men did, and during the night I will learn what the Lord wants to tell me." That night God came to Balaam. God said, "These men have come again to ask you to go with them. So you can go with them, but do only what I tell you to do." Balaam and his donkey. The next morning, Balaam got up, put a saddle on his donkey, and went with the Moabite leaders. Balaam was riding on his donkey. Two of his servants were with him. While Balaam was traveling, God became angry. God became angry, but the preceding verse said that God told you to go. We'll understand it better by and by. So the Lord's angel stood in the road in front of Balaam to stop him. But you told him to go. In verse 20. When Balaam's donkey saw the Lord's angel standing in the road with a sword in his hand, the donkey turned from the road and went into the field. Balaam could not see the angel, so he was very angry at the donkey. He hit the donkey and forced it to go back on the road. Later, the Lord's angel stood at a place where the road became narrow. This was between two vineyards. There were walls on both sides of the road. Again, the donkey saw the Lord's angel. So the donkey walked very close to one wall. This crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So Balaam hit his donkey again. Later, the Lord's angel stood at another place where the road became narrow. There was no place where the donkey could go around him. It could not turn to the left or to the right. The donkey saw the Lord's angel, so the donkey laid down with Balaam sitting on top of it. Balaam was very angry at the donkey, so he hit it with his walking stick. Then the Lord caused the donkey to speak. The donkey said to Balaam, "Why are you angry at me?" And see, that'd have been enough right there. "Why are you angry at me? What have I done to you? You have hit me 3 times. Balaam answered the donkey. Lord have mercy. Talking back instead of running. Balaam answered the donkey, "You have made me look foolish. If I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now." But the donkey said to Balaam, "Look, I'm your donkey. You've ridden me for so many years, and you know that I've never done this to you before." "That is true," Balaam said. Then the Lord allowed Balaam to see the angel. The Lord's angel was standing in the road holding a sword in his hand. Balaam bowed low to the ground. Then the Lord's angel asked Balaam, why did you hit your donkey 3 times? I'm the one who came to stop you. But just in time, your donkey saw me and turned away from me. That happened 3 times. If the donkey had not turned away, I probably would have killed you already, and I would have let your donkey live. Let the donkey live. My Lord. Let the donkey live. Then Balaam said to the Lord's angel, I have sinned. I did not know that you were standing in the road. If I'm doing wrong, I will go back home. Then the Lord's angel said to Balaam, no, you can go with these men, but be careful. Speak only the words that I will tell you to say. So Balaam went with the leaders that Balak had sent. So you told him to go. You got angry. You're going to kill him. Then he said, go ahead and go. We'll understand it better by and by. Balak heard that Balaam was coming, so Balak went out to meet him at the Moabite town near the Arnon River. This was at the northern border of his country. When Balak saw Balaam, he said to him, I asked you before to come. I told you it was very important. Why didn't you come to me? Did you think I might not be able to pay you? Balaam answered, well, I'm here now. I came, but I might not be able to do what you ask. I can only say the words God tells me to say. Then Balaam went with Balak to Kiriath Huzoth. Balak killed some cattle and some sheep as his sacrifice. He gave some of the meat to Balaam and some of the leaders who were with him. Now, who was he sacrificing to? The next morning, Balak took Balaam to the town of Bamoth Baal. From there, they could see part of the Israelite camp. Numbers 23, Balaam's first message. Balaam said, build 7 altars here and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me. Balak did what Balaam asked. Then Balak and Balaam killed a ram and a bull on each of the altars. Then Balaam said to Balak, stay near this altar. I will go to another place. Then the Lord will come to me and he will tell me what I must say. Then Balaam went away to a higher place. God came to Balaam at that place, and Balaam said, I prepared 7 altars, and I've killed a bull and a ram as a sacrifice on each altar. Then the Lord gave Balaam a message for Balak and said, go back to Balak and say the things that I have given you to say. So Balaam went back to Balak. Balak was still standing near the altar, and all the leaders of Moab were standing there with him. Then Balaam spoke, and this was his message. Balak, the king of Moab, brought me here from the eastern mountains of Aram. Balak said to me, come curse Jacob for me, come speak against the Israelites. But God is not against them, so I cannot speak against them either. The Lord has not asked for bad things to happen to these people, so I cannot do that either. I see these people from the mountain. I see them from the high hills. They live alone. They're not part of another nation. Who can count Jacob's people? There are as many as the grains of the dust. No one can count even 1/4 of the Israelites. Let me die like a good man. Let my life end as happy as theirs. Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I brought you here to curse my enemies, but you've blessed them. But Balaam answered, I must say the things the Lord tells me to say. Then Balak said to him, so come with me to another place. At that place, you can see more of these people. You cannot see all of them. You can only see part of them. Maybe from that place, you can curse them for me. So Balak led Balaam to Watchman Hill. This was on top of Mount Pisgah. Then Balak, isn't that where Moses died? Then Balak built 7 altars, or at least where he saw the land. Then Balak built 7 altars and killed a bull and a ram on each altar as a sacrifice. Then Balaam said to Balak, stay here on this altar while I go meet with God over there. So the Lord came to Balaam and told Balaam what to say. Then he told Balaam to go back to Balak and say these things. So Balaam went back to Balak. Balak was still standing near the altar. The leaders of Moab were there with him. Balak saw Balaam coming and said, what did the Lord say? Balaam's second message. Then Balaam said this, stand up, Balak, and listen to me. Hear me, Balak, son of Zippor. God is not a man. He will not lie. God is not a human being. His decisions will not change. If he says he will do something, then he will do it. If he makes a promise, then he will do what he promised. He told me to bless them. He blessed them. So I cannot change that. God saw no wrong in Jacob's people. He saw no sin in the Israelites. The Lord is their God, and he is with them. The great king is with them. God brought them out of Egypt. They're as strong as a wild ox. There is no power that can defeat the people of Jacob. There is no magic that can stop the Israelites. People will say that this Jacob and the Israelites, look at the great things God did. The people are strong as lions, and they fight like lions. And the lion will not rest until it eats what it has caught, until it drinks the blood of what it has killed. Then Balak said to Balaam, you didn't ask for good things to happen to these people, but you didn't ask for bad things to happen to them either. Balaam answered, I told you before that I can only say what the Lord tells me to say. Then Balak said to Balaam, so come with me to another place. Maybe God will be pleased and will allow you to curse them from that place. So Balak led Balaam to the top of Mount Peor, which looks out over the desert. Why does he keep going to mountains? That's interesting. Why would he keep going to mountains? And why does he think going to different places is going to make God answer different? Balaam said, build 7 altars here, then prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for the altars. Balak did what Balaam asked. Balak offered the bulls and the rams on the altars. Numbers 24, Balaam's third message. Balaam saw that the Lord wanted to bless Israel, so he did not try to change that by using any kind of magic. But Balaam turned and looked toward the desert. He looked out across the desert and saw the Israelites. They were camped with tribes in their different areas. And the Spirit of God came on him, and he gave this message. The message is from Balaam, son of Beor. I am speaking about things I see clearly. These are the words I heard from God. I saw that what God all-powerful showed me. I humbly tell what I clearly see. People of Jacob, your tents are beautiful. Israelites, your homes are beautiful. You're like rows of palm trees planted by the streams. You're like gardens growing by the rivers. You're like sweet-smelling bushes planted by the Lord. You're like cedar trees growing by the water. You will always have enough water for your seeds to grow. Your king will be greater than King Agag. Your kingdom will be very great. God brought them out of Egypt. They are as strong as a wild ox. They will defeat all their enemies. They will break their bones and shatter their arrows. Israel is like a lion, curled up and lying down. Yes, they're like a young lion, and no one wants to wake him. Anyone who blesses, you will be blessed. And anyone who curses, you will have great troubles. When Balak heard this, he angrily struck his fist against his hand and said to Balaam, I called you to come and curse my enemies, but you've blessed them. You have blessed them these 3 times. Now leave and go home. I told you that I would give you a very good payment, but the Lord has caused you to lose your reward. Balaam said to Balak, you sent men to ask me to come. Don't you remember what I told them? I said, even if Balak gives me his most beautiful house filled with silver and gold, I can still only say what the Lord commands me to say. I cannot do anything myself, good or bad. I must say what the Lord commands. Now I'm going back to my own people, but I will give you this warning. I will tell you what these Israelites will do to you and your people in the future. Balaam's last message, and Balaam gave this message. This message is from Balaam, son of Beor. I'm speaking about things I clearly see. I heard this message from God. I learned what God Most High taught me. I saw what God All-Powerful showed me. I humbly tell what I clearly see. I see him coming, but not now. I see him coming, but not soon. A star will come from the family of Jacob. A new ruler will come from the Israelites. He will smash the heads of the Moabites and crush the heads of the sons of Sheth. Israel will grow strong. He will get the land of Edom. He will get the land of Seir, his enemy. A new ruler will come from the family of Jacob. That ruler will destroy the people left alive in that city. Then Balaam saw the Amalekites and said this, Amalek is the strongest of all nations, but even Amalek will be destroyed. Then Balaam saw the Kenites and said this, you believe your country is safe like a bird's nest high on a mountain, but you Kenites will be destroyed. Just as the Lord destroyed Cain, Assyria will make you prisoners. Then Balaam said this, no one can live when God does this. Ships will come from Cyprus. They will defeat Assyria and Eber, but those ships will also be destroyed. Then Balaam got up and went home, and Balak went his own way. This is the word of the Lord. Please place those words in the comment section. This is the word of the Lord. Follow, like, share, and subscribe. And please call, text, email, inbox everybody and tell them to join us every morning as we read